Pimp is the new movie featuring Danny Dyer, and it's directed by and starring Robert Kavanagh, and it's given to us as a mock documentary. It's not as a pseudo documentary. We shot this as a documentary about all the sort of seedy side of the Soho sex industry. And actually says at the beginning some of these scenes were shot with undercover cameras. Well, you say, well, if that's a way of explaining that it's badly shot, then yes, I'd kind of buy that. But the whole thing about mock documentaries is it has run its course. But don't do a mock documentary which is so bad, so without any sense at any point that any of this could actually be happening in anything approaching the real world. So it's one of those morally duplicitous movies that basically says, oh, moral corruption, let's look at some of it. Oh, yeah, now we've gone to a bar where there's some moral corruption. People, philosophizing about the sex industry in a way that implies that they don't know anything about anything at all. Has nothing to say, says it very loudly. It's leery and leery and annoying. But here's the funny thing. You think, OK, fine, well, that's perfect for Danny Dyer. Now, as you know, Danny Dyer has recently been in the press with this nonsense that he wrote. There was an objectionable column in Zoo magazine that was attributed to him, which he says he was misquoted. I believe that the story is rumbling on, in which he suggested that if you'd broken up with a girl, one way of getting over it was to disfigure her so that nobody else would want her. He then said, oh, terrible. I never said... who knows exactly what the mechanics of how that column appeared in Zoo magazine under Danny Dyer's byline? Who knows? More to the point, who cares? Quite apart from that, you would be associated with anything like that at all. It's just bar. In the case of this, Danny, the one register that Danny Dyer does is, I'm a geezer, I do geezer white boy. And in the case of this movie, staggeringly, Danny Dyer is miscast. Danny Dyer is cast as the Godfather figure. He is cast as a sort of porn sex baron. He is cast as the menacing guy wearing the sharp suits who's kind of behind all this sort of sleazy stuff. He's basically the Don Corleone figure. And you just imagine, right? Imagine one of those scenes from The Godfather as delivered by Danny Dyer. You come to me on the occasion of my daughter's wedding. And you don't show me no respect. And I just thought, of all the things that you could have done with this movie, right? Leery, laddie, dreary nonsense, right? And don't give him that role, because, it's the one thing in this whole debacle, which is worthless trash from beginning to end, that can't do. It's that. And the scenes of attempting to be this kind of terrifying mob boss. It's just, it would be funny if it wasn't so pathetic and tragic. It is interesting how we've kind of got to the point that people can be forgiven for casual misogyny in a way that you'd never be forgiven for casual racism. And there is this pernicious undertone through this whole lad culture about somehow it is actually all right to be funny about being horrible to women. Well, A, it's not, but B, being in a movie like this and taking on that role means that you're not just a Burke, but you're a miscast Burke. Incidentally, I should say, in the interest of editorial fairness, Danny Dyer has threatened to beat me up because he finds my impression of him so hideous that he said, if I ever see him, I'm going to put something right across his canister. Well, it's fine. So the solution to that is I'm just never going to take a canister with me, and then he won't be able to put anything across
something across your canister?
Yes, I don't know what it meant, but it sounded not entirely pleasant. But it's even by Danny Dyer's standards, it is grot of the highest order, and
everyone involved
should be thoroughly ashamed of themselves.